Welcome to the Manistee Local Podcast, and welcome back to our loyal subscribers, and a warm welcome to all of our new listeners. This podcast is brought to you by our amazing sponsors who make it possible to bring us high-quality content each and every week. We want to extend a big thank you to them for their continued support, and if you enjoy this podcast, please show your appreciation by liking, commenting, and subscribing. Your feedback means everything to us and helps us continue to improve. Also, real quick, I want to take another moment to mention how our sponsors contribute to the quality of our production. Their support allows us to invest in better equipment, top-notch guests, and research, which in turn leads to even more engaging and informative episodes. So once again, thank you to our sponsors, and thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay up to date with all of our latest episodes. I appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoy the show. Cheers. Well, we need people like you. When bad shit happens, to go take care of it.
Yep.
Well, that's one of the things I did want to talk about. Would you like a liquid death, or are you good with what you got there?
Stick with it.
Proudly distributed by Ludington Beverage.
Liquid death.
Oh, geez. I do too. That's our main water source here. And like my well went out at my house. Pump, well, everything. We knew it was coming. We had it planned to get it fixed. Guys supposed to come this week, but it shut down. So we've been a few days without water. So
I feel you. I got to do a few well projects in Afghanistan and climbing down in some big wells.
So I said something to somebody the other day and this morning about how fortunate we are to live where we live in this country, have running water and all the shit, right?
Yeah.
But literally, if the grid goes down, I can see chaos ensue. I can see people losing their shit.
That's one of the things that folks don't understand about countries like Afghanistan, where you've got all this internal conflict going on, and the primary driver in that country for internal conflict now is water rights. Villages or tribes stealing water from, or the perception of stealing water from other tribes. And the country has been so drilled for wells that the water's drying up. So even now with the Taliban takeover, there's a lot of internal warfare going on between the tribes over water rights.
No shit.
That opens doors for all kinds of other nefarious activities.
This episode is brought to you by Chapo's Northside Bar, voted best burger and wings in town. Yeah, you heard that right. If you're going to go out for a burger or wings or both, you might as well go to the place that's voted the best. The best. Why wouldn't you have anything less? Look, and if you're not down for a burger or wings, that's cool. They've got salads, wraps, and sandwiches also. And this summer, it's going to get wild because on June 24th, it kicks off their summer concert series in the parking lot. Live music, folks, and guess what? It's free. Yeah, come down for the music, stay for the fun, enjoy the best burger and wings in town. Chapo's Northside Bar. This episode is brought to you by Just Clean, Manistee's premier car wash located at 146 Cleveland Street or just north of the US 31 bridge. Look, if you're anything like me, you're not going to spend an hour or two in the hot summer sun in your driveway trying to wash your vehicle. I don't have time for that. So I always take my truck to Just Clean. I choose their ultimate car wash, which includes a triple foam conditioner, a ceramic coating plus wax, and a 60-second heated blow dry. They are the only car wash in town offering the ceramic coating. For my money, I choose Just Clean, and I hope you do too. This episode is brought to you by Brandon Ball, broker-owner of Dwelling Realty in Manistee, Michigan. Listen, are you looking to sell your home? Then look no further. When you list with Brandon Ball, you'll get a trusted advisor who will guide you through the entire selling process. With extensive knowledge of the local market, he'll help you price your home competitively to attract the right buyers. And with proven market strategies, your home will be seen by the most qualified buyers. With his 17 years in the business, you'll have someone who's experienced and on your side. Contact Brandon today to get started selling your home. 231-690-4981 or Brandon at dwellingrealty.com. So we're talking with Tad Reed today, co-owner of Ludington Beverage Company, Anheuser-Busch House. You guys oversee numerous counties. If you could just give us a little bit of breakdown of who you are, and then kind of get into Ludington Beverage as a company, and the counties that you service and the brands that you carry. And then I'd also like to circle back around and talk about your military background a little bit, and some of the things that we can maybe foreshadow. Talk about Folds of Honor would be a good one as well.
Yeah, I think, I just have the privilege of being a steward of a company that's celebrating its 90th birthday this year.
Yeah, 1933, right?
1933.
That's wild.
The end of Prohibition. So Americans get the right to drink their beer again. And our family was there. And, that's a privilege, not a right. So I take that very seriously, and our whole team does. So here we are 90 years later. We get to celebrate with the city of Ludington on its 150th anniversary, and bring in the Budweiser Clydesdales to help enhance that celebration for the city of Ludington, which we're super proud of.
I'm excited about that too, because what year was it that they came through Manistee for the sleigh bell parade? I was trying to...
Maybe 2004.
Was it that long ago?
Christmas 2004.
I definitely remember that.
Or December time.
Yeah, gorgeous animals.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're going to be coming through Ludington on Tuesday, June 6th. I'm actually going to try to pump this podcast out this afternoon. So today's Monday the 5th. So Tuesday they're going to be coming through the stables at Mason County, the fairgrounds there. And Horse Prep Day on Wednesday the 7th. First Street Beach here in Manistee, they're going to be coming through on the 8th from 5 to 7. There's a loop online. I'll put links to that in the podcast show notes. And then downtown Love Ludington street party on the 9th from 5 to 7. Full hitch on-premise account delivery, so that's pretty cool. So some people are going to be able to get some product delivered off the back of the
that's the plan.
Would something deviate from that, or if account said yeah we'll do it? Because I would have loved to have had that come downtown Manistee and taken a case of beer off of it.
I think Mother Nature is the big X factor there. The Clydesdales just aren't able to operate if there's precipitation. So right now the weather looks good.
Yeah.
And that's the plan. So we'll do route rehearsals here this week. The team will arrive tomorrow. They overnight tonight in Michigan. They're going to get across the border tonight, and then we'll see them sometime before lunchtime tomorrow.
That's fresh. So to go back to the beginning then, I just wanted to put that out there that the Clydesdales are coming, because I do think that's pretty rad. And like I said, I'll put that in the show notes. But 1933, is that your great-grandfather then? Who was the front runner to kick off post-Prohibition beer deliveries in Mason County?
Pack and Vera Reed picked up the torch there in 1933, and then my grandfather Bud worked with Pack and Vera before he deployed for the Second World War. He was Army Air Corps B-24 Liberator pilot, and then during the war was shot down, actually.
Wow.
Became a prisoner of the Russians. Crashed in Hungary. The Hungarian peasants smuggled his crew through German lines to the Russians, who are our allies at the moment. And they were not mistreated. They were taken care of, but shipped in boxcars all over Russia. And then eventually, in a prisoner exchange, brought back into Italy.
Jesus.
Came on trains back through German lines into Italy, and did his debrief on the Isle of Capri, and made it home just in time to ask my grandmother for her hand in marriage before somebody else could. So.
I mean, I think there's some gaps in there, though. I mean, did he ever talk about what it was like to be a POW, basically?
Yeah, and interestingly, he really actually didn't speak of it until I probably was maybe in high school, and they were doing the Ludington Daily News was doing a feature on 50 years post-war of veterans in the community, and my grandfather was interviewed by my father, who at the time was working for the Ludington Daily News, and that was the first time I ever in my life heard him talk about his experience in the Second World War. And I think also my own father's first time hearing his experiences from the Second World War. So, that generation, they just didn't talk about what they lived through. A few years later, one of the things that my grandfather said in his interview was that, and whether that was on the record or off the record, I don't remember, but he mentioned that he couldn't remember the name of the aircraft that they flew the day he was shot down, because their aircraft would get so shot up that they were hot swapping aircraft for each air mission. So every time they're flying a different frame, which is very foreign for most of us thinking about, even operationally as soldiers, where we're pretty fond of our machines. They take on a character of their own. So these guys were, always wondering, is this my machine? No. Is it as maintained as I would have maintained it? So there's some anxiety to that.
I bet.
A lot of trust that goes into their crews and into their maintenance crews, which is awesome. And it says a lot about the character of that generation. But he did not know the name of that aircraft. So I searched for a historian that specialized in Second World War history, and hired the historian to do some digging for us. And he went through archives, the Smithsonian, at the National Archives, Library of Congress, and pulled out a litany of reports. And he found the after-action mission report that the unit had done on the shoot-down or crash or missing soldiers or airmen at the time. Remember, it was the Army Air Corps at that time. It wasn't an Air Force yet. So he found Russian prisoner records, that listed in Cyrillic all the people that were involved in the capture, and then all the people that were involved in the prisoner exchange. And then I happen to have a soldier who spoke Russian, so he interpreted a bunch of this stuff for us. And also in that record was the name of the aircraft that they were shot down in. The aircraft's name was Double Shot Sam.
That's awesome.
It was. It was awesome. So my father and my Uncle Buddy commissioned an artist to paint an B-24 Liberator painting and put the name of the aircraft on it for my grandfather, and then presented it to my grandfather. So just a lot of cool history there. I was on R&R from Afghanistan, actually, and my wife and I went to Italy, and actually went to the airfield in San Pancrazio, Italy, down in the heel of the boot of Italy. We rented a car and drove from Rome all the way down there. It was maybe a little crazy, but you get that far south in Italy and very few people speak English, and it's very rural, beautiful country. And went to the little village of San Pancrazio, where the last surviving heavy bomber airfield from the Second World War in Europe still exists, and you could see the remnants of the buildings and the tentage, and
wow,
all of it still remains, almost like a
Yeah, time capsule.
A Roman time capsule.
Yeah, that's wild.
So, very cool. Cool experience to be where he had been. That was the day he was shot down. He flew out of that airfield, and then he departed the country later at the end of the war from that airfield. So just a cool part of history that I got to connect with my grandfather.
That's amazing. That's really amazing. And you yourself are in the military.
Yes.
What branch is that again?
So
currently, not the Air Force.
No, but my business partner Rick Tyndall.
That's
served
right.
5 years.
Shout out to Rick.
5 years in the Air Force, Rocco. And Uncle Buddy, also an Air Forceman, a sergeant, intelligence officer, doing code breaking in the Vietnam War. So
very cool.
We are a 100% veteran-owned company, and very proud of it.
As you should be.
And I'm currently a lieutenant colonel in the Michigan Army National Guard, so I had 13 years on active duty, and then I've been now several years in the Michigan Guard. And I just came out of battalion command on Friday, actually. Did a change of command ceremony up at Camp Grayling for 631st Troop Command, where we have responsibilities over Operation Northern Strike and not the entire exercise, but specific parts of it. So very proud of our soldiers and troopers, and the units growing, and the capabilities of Camp Grayling and the National All-Domain Warfighting Center there are unique to the Guard and to the Army. So we have a world-class facility right here in Michigan, and we've got some tremendous leaders doing great things to bring more capacity to Michigan, more relevancy to the Michigan Army National Guard and Air Guard. Just very proud of all that they do.
Yeah, it's really awesome that you guys are 100% veteran owned. I think that's something that's really unique. It's something that you can definitely lean into quite a bit. How many employees do you have at Ludington Beverage? You know, off the top of your head?
We will be right around 30. We'll have some additional seasonal help in the summertime for specifically merchandising. So we'll grow a bit in the summer, but our full-time staff hovers around 30.
I think it's pretty remarkable too that I've been in and out of the business for a little over 20 years, and it seems like Ludington Beverage always has the same squad.
Yeah, I think part of what is remarkable about our company is we've got folks there that have been there for darn near half the life of this company. Got Troy Edwards and Eric Case. These are guys with over 40 years at the company. Got Rick Tyndall. He's over 35 years. Dickie Town just retired. He was right around 35 years. Irvi Kowalski, he retired here a couple years ago.
He was there for like 100 years. He was there 10 years before.
Irvi was here, and then there, and Danny Foote. And, of course, Uncle Buddy, who still comes in and sees us every single day.
Does he really?
Yep. When he's in town, and he goes away during the winter time.
Sure.
He and his lovely wife, Cheryl, spend time in Arizona in the winter now. But he's in every day when he's here, and a great mentor to myself and Rick. We're proud of, hundreds of years of service of our team, and the reality is you don't spend that number of years in an organization that you don't love and appreciate.
Right.
We talk about our business being a family, and there are folks that don't make the cut, so to speak. If you don't treat the other family members like family, you take them for granted, or you mistreat them, you won't make it long in our family.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of things over the years with Ludington Beverage. It definitely feels like a family company. It feels like everybody's a part of that, or that they buy into it. For years, I always heard that, it's growth within your company. It always is within your company. You guys don't typically look to hire out for upper level position. It's kind of like a scale of grooming. Like if we want to better somebody, right person, right seat kind of thing. Somebody could just be a salesperson for 20 years, or that salesperson could evolve into a management role. Not a lot of companies do that, especially at your size. I mean, 30 plus employees isn't a small company. Rooted in the community for sure, in the communities that you guys service. Predominantly, I would say you have more of a face in Mason County just because you've been in Ludington, for 90 years. But you're very recognizable in all the communities you service. Maybe I'm just saying that because I'm super familiar with you guys. A lot of you guys are my friends. But I do appreciate and see what you do for the community and the broader community, like with Folds of Honor. For those that are listening or watching, can you want to talk about Folds of Honor and why that's important to you? Because I know you've kind of picked up that flag.
Yeah.
And you kind of carry that for Ludington Beverage, but let people know what it is, why it's important, and how they can maybe even help.
Yeah, thanks for asking about that, James. Folds of Honor, to me, I think looking back at why that became important to me is because spending time in Iraq and Afghanistan, Africa, and having lost soldiers that had spouses and children, and having been a casualty affairs officer doing notifications and really having to help a spouse navigate the world of post losing their soldier loved one. It was near and dear to me that we do something that has a long-term impact, where we're teaching a man to fish, so to speak, where through Folds of Honor we're providing educational scholarships to the spouses and children of our fallen and disabled service members, and now also the fold includes law enforcement and first responders. That began after September 11th, 2022. So our shot group really broadened, and there are so many deserving family members out there in that community as well who selflessly serve and whose families serve. So,
right.
In the military, when we re-enlist a soldier, a sailor, an airman, a Marine, a Coast Guardsman, we re-enlist a family, and we owe it to those family members to provide them something different. It's not like their family member applied for a job and went through a selection
right
interview process. They volunteered for a job, went through a selection process that's extremely rigorous, and earned their stripes. And so do those family members. They have a tough road, and so here we are, helping to raise money at $5,000 increment scholarships, and just our little company over the years has raised over $200,000 in scholarships for these family members, collectively with the help of a lot of other organizations and businesses. But we're super proud of that fact. And over the last really 4 years, we've focused on making sure that we keep those dollars right here in Michigan, so that we got Michigan recipients. And we're super proud. On Sunday afternoon, this coming Sunday, we're going to have the opportunity to present another Folds of Honor scholarship to a young man whose father is a disabled special operations soldier, and that child will be able to use that scholarship money for college. So these folks are learning to fish. They're going to college, or they're going to trade school, or they're going to whatever that institution of learning is for them, and we can help them better their lives beyond that, and honor their parent, honor their spouse, and the people that we meet in this organization, the recipient, are just unbelievably resilient, and they are the best of what America is, and we're just honored to be part of that.
And that'll keep you going. When you meet people like that, when you do stuff like Folds of Honor, when you're kind of entrenched in giving and helping and uplifting, it's hard to stop doing that.
Yeah.
You just want to keep on going and going and going. I know that you have a scheduling conflict with what you're trying to do with the endurance challenge that you're putting together. Maybe you can touch on it a little bit for something that you're planning for maybe next year and what that would look like.
Yeah. So.
Because I want to be a part of it. I told you that.
You're gonna ruck march with
I'm going to do it. Yep.
And a fellow veteran.
Yes, thank you.
So thank you for your service too.
I appreciate it.
Okay, so this is a challenge, but traditionally, Folds of Honor was founded by Lieutenant Colonel Dan Rooney in a room above his garage. He and his wife started Folds of Honor, and there's a really powerful story. Go to foldsofhonor.org, check out Colonel Rooney's story. You can get to it off the Ludington Beverage page. We'll have a QR code up today where you can help us also donate toward our $10,000 goal over the next 2 weeks to give away 2 scholarships to 2 Michigan recipients. It might not be up there quite yet. I know our team was working on it this morning, but we'll have it up by the end of the day, and we'll have posters around the community and at the service clubs and at some of your favorite watering holes to help us get across the finish line with that. And that's really a segue away from what I really wanted to do this year. Traditionally, Folds of Honor, Colonel Rooney is a PGA pro as well. He's a F-16 pilot in the Air National Guard, but he has a long history tied to golf, and his family owned and operated the Grand Haven Country Club, and everyone around here knows some folks deeply involved in a project down there called American Dunes, and Mr. Doug Bell and Doug's awesome family, and their powerful story, and how they are so tied to Folds of Honor. And I think Doug is one of the most awesome humans I've ever had the pleasure of meeting. And Colonel Rooney's selection of Doug to go down and be the general manager at American Dunes, and the mission that, I don't care if you golf or not, go to American Dunes. There's nothing like that experience in America, maybe the world, where every round of golf, the proceeds beyond operational costs go directly to Folds of Honor scholarships.
That's wild.
Every single swing you're taking is helping fund a scholarship. And when you go there and you experience the immersive experience of how they honor that, there's nothing like it. From the moment you pull up, where you walk the tunnel of monuments, to your cart path or your cart ride, to monuments at every single hole to honor a fallen service member and a Folds recipient family, to screens on your carts telling stories of family members, and every day at 1300 taps plays on that course with one of the biggest flags you've ever seen in your life. Every part of that experience is to honor the families of our fallen and disabled service members. And Jack Nicholas donated his services and his name and his time and his expertise to come in and redesign the Grand Haven Country Club into the American Dunes. And so at each of the 18 holes, you've got one of Jack's 18 masters or 18 professional wins. There's a plaque there telling the story of that. Jack will come on the screen as you go around the course.
For his major wins.
His major
18
wins.
major wins.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fresh.
Yep. So combination of telling Jack's story and his passion to support Folds of Honor, and then telling all these families' stories. So that tie to golf. Folds of Honor has a strong tie to the golfing community. Every Memorial Day they do around the United States, golf courses around the country help to raise money for Folds of Honor and Memorial Day tournaments. And I have been involved in the last couple of years. Some folks here will be familiar with where I've done golf marathons. So a partner, myself, do 100 plus holes of golf as fast as we can do it, and it's all to raise money. I'm not much of a golfer, but it's just to me, it's about the suck.
Yeah.
To honor these families and raise some money. And my partners are just awesome, and they're the golfers,
Yeah.
Michael Ray, or Scotty out at Lakeside Links. We're just awesome partners. This year I wanted to do something a little different, circling back around. There are golf marathons around the country to help raise money for Folds of Honor. And instead of doing 100 holes at one course with, just myself and a partner, what I wanted to do was spread it out over 9 golf courses and do, 9 to a dozen holes per course, and then road march in between each course. So, I'd probably walk anywhere between 120, 150 miles, and do some overnighting because I couldn't do it clearly all in one day, and ask folks to join me on the routes. I've got segued a bit here with Army responsibilities, and we're gonna have to push the pause button on this, and we'll circle back around on it.
Yeah.
When we're able to.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I've been telling people about it since I said I was going to have you on the show too. I'm like, I can't wait to talk about it because I want to do it. And I don't remember when the dates were, but now I know we have to kind of push it a little bit, and that's okay because I'm not in shape enough to do it right now.
Yeah, it takes some training.
Yeah.
And I was a little setback because we had trained hard, and then I got sent away for some schooling during that period. Wasn't able to train, and then found out during that I'd have to be going away for a while. So, pause button.
Pause button. Well, I'll be ready when you're ready to push play.
Yeah, we're gonna tackle this.
Yeah.
Or die trying.
I'm all in. I wanted to ask you 2 more questions, and I know you wanted to do a hat change here and talk about something else.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to talk about what are some of your biggest challenges in the distribution business today, and what are your biggest accomplishments within the Anheuser-Busch distributor umbrella?
Yeah.
And maybe really quick, I should say that you guys, a lot of people probably think Ludington Beverage is just a bud house, but I mean you guys have some pretty awesome brands. Goose Island.
Yeah.
One of my favorite brands here. You guys are kicking ass with New Belgian, by the way. That Voodoo series is phenomenal. I think it shocked the shit out of a lot of people and retailers. I mean, we did a little bit of stuff with the Voodoo Ranger brand over the last couple of years in their 6-packs and stuff like that. But that 19.2 ounce has been crushing, and it's really lifted that brand to a whole nother level.
Yeah, and we're super proud of New Belgium and Lion and now Bell's.
Right.
Although we aren't a Bell's house, we know Larry Bell and the Bell's team, and although they're our competitors with Alliance Beverage, they're awesome.
Yeah.
So that's what we'd say about that. But yeah, the 19.2 has been a huge surprise. It's got New Belgium on the rocket ship, and one of the few craft brands that's growing double digits in the last 2 years. I think beer, alcohol has seen some challenges really since COVID. A lot of supply chain challenges, a massive number of competitors entering the market. So you've got market flooding. You've got consumers interested in lots of other alcoholic beverages. So it's an exciting time in our industry where, what has been consumer choice for decades has really shifted, and where you're seeing a lot of choices in wine and spirits, and now ready to drink spirits in a can, where you're seeing all the brewers shifting gears and getting into new fields, really, new beverages.
Right.
Which is, that's operationally a lot more difficult than it seems, and a lot more costly especially for our craft brewers, to shift gears like that. A lot of, from their commodities changing to their, brewing to distilling is a big addition.
Right.
So for those that are able to make that transition, understand that, when you're supporting them, you're helping support huge operational costs for them in their teams and in their equipment and in what they need to purchase to bring that to market. So their identity is tied around all those really tough costs too. So we do our darndest to support our partners, and one of those partners I want to say I'm super proud of, North Channel.
Yeah, Manistee.
Our Manistee partner. And man, they're everywhere in the community doing so many awesome things. I know they work closely with you and your organizations. But Don and Ron just have built an awesome team with a great brand. Just like every other small business in America over the past, really since the pandemic, especially, lots of transitions. And that's just the way of the world now. And I think we all hope we get back to a period in America where we've got some longevity built into our teams, but it is definitely a new psychology in the workforce where there's a lot of transitions. So we're empathetic to all of our suppliers who have dealt with that, and it's been disruptive, to say the least. And anybody who owns a business knows exactly what I'm talking about, and we're not immune to it either. So when you talk about challenges, I would say two of the biggest challenges are the expansion of SKUs or products in our industry. Where beer salesmen went out 15 years ago and maybe had 200 products.
Right.
Now there may be thousands.
Right.
I
was talking to somebody the other day about that, though. I think the industry where it's changing, where it's pivoted, with respect to like a salesperson that's beating the pavement with now, like you said, upwards of 1,000 plus different products, is the business owner's ability to just order everything online.
Yeah.
and then have that salesperson be more of a conduit for new brands, tasting experiences, trying to grow your portfolio by doing more selling and less trying to just get everything possible in. The retailer's got everything at their fingertips. They can get information on all the brands online, and then through portals like you guys use Bees, which I think is great. And then Peyton walks in the door and says, "Hey, look at all this fun stuff I have," and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I should probably add that." You know what I mean? So it frees him up to do his job, to sell beer.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think our team's excited about this business-to-business technology, which has existed in other consumer product goods. It's not new.
Right.
Amazon, Walmart's gotten into it big time. So it was a natural progression for our industry, and it really for the retailer to be able to online shop through a large portfolio and basically have a sage guide
Right.
in your salesperson, like Peyton, who no one does it better.
At least for me.
Yeah, we're super proud of them. Our team is so awesome.
They are.
I think each and every one of them, no one does it better.
No one does it better.
Yeah. So, gosh, much props to them. Eric Case, Jason.
I mean, you could go
Gutowski.
down the list. I mean, honestly, because like I was talking about the longevity of Ludington Beverages, you're not seeing another new face every single week. I mean, it speaks volumes. I mean, I've worked for companies where it's a revolving door of salespeople, and then you're following in behind another salesperson into an account, and they're just like, oh, well, I mean, how long are you going to be here? You guys walk in the door, and it's like cheers. I mean, there are some places that come and knock on Manistee Beverage's door, and I'm like, oh, Christ, I don't have time.
Yeah.
You guys walk in, and it's like my buddies are walking in.
Yeah, they know you. You know their families. The Tyndalls. Kenny Tyndall is our team leader, and you got Peyton Tyndall here in town. Jason Gutowski is a local boy.
Goots.
Yeah. Paulie Golubieski.
My cousin.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
That's a Manistee boy. Well, maybe not born and raised here, but he's lived here a long time, and everybody knows Paulie.
Yep.
Johnny Mears, our newest full-time salesman, married this past weekend.
Oh, congratulations, Johnny.
Big congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Mears. And we're going to try to do something special with them with the Budweiser Clydesdales, I think.
Good.
Get some
Good.
pretty cool pictures. Eric Case.
Yep.
Then we've got Tyler Snagowski, who's joined our team. We've got a litany of young guys that have joined our sales team here. Keith, who handles the Meyer right here in
Yep,
Manistee.
yep.
You guys see Keith Bott out there on a regular basis. So I know we've got new members of the team that are earning their stripes in the Ludington area as well. Proud of each and every one of them. Proud of our drivers. Troy Edwards,
Yeah, you guys
over
got a great
40
squad.
years.
Yeah.
Josh Overlow, over 20 years. Kevin Pomorski, Casey Janowiak, Diego. We've got a couple new guys in the warehouse. Our operations manager, Troy Smith, he's 25 years with us, and he was Manistee CSS for a long time. So folks around here know Troy.
Yep.
And he's taking care of our whole operations team now with another veteran, Caleb, who's our assistant operations manager and our in-house IT guy too. And the Marine Corps helped train Caleb for all the awesome capabilities that he's got, and he's using his GI Bill to better his education. And Caleb's family, I hope, applies for a Folds of Honor scholarship because he's eligible.
Oh, very nice.
So, Man, we have an awesome team, and I know I forgot people. You know,
You're gonna get shit about it.
team, Jeff Patterson is our sales manager.
You could have forgot Jeff.
JP, man, legendary. You know, and Jeff and Rick's mentor, you know, being Irv Kowalski and Dickie Town and Dan Foote and Buddy. You know, so
Yeah, the old guard.
we do grow our team internally. You look at every one of our team members has at some point probably been in the warehouse, pulled orders, crushed cans, done repacking, maybe even delivered on a truck, and then worked their way up through. And Rick and I have worked hard to build a new progression for our team, so that every team member has perspective and understands the complexities. You know, you'll hear people say, "Oh, it's not rocket science. You're just selling beer." That's not true.
That's not true.
There's a lot of complexity to this business and managing inventories and helping, you know, be that sage advisor to the retailer, understanding a whole portfolio, not just, you know, 12 beer brands.
Right.
You know, but now it's beer. It's ready to drink cocktails in a can. It's tea. It's water. It's energy drinks. It's wine.
Yeah.
It's beverage. We are a beverage company. So big complexities in the industry and hiring challenges and employee challenges, I think, are probably two of the biggest sticking points in not just for Ludington Beverage, but just our industry in general. And James, I would be remiss not to mention all the hard work that Kai Carlson has personally put into our team and our business in our entire territory. The guy is tireless and relentless, and those of you out there know him. You know exactly what I'm talking about. We couldn't have a better ambassador out there, so just wanted to make sure we give props to Kai.
I would be remiss if I didn't bring up what's going on here with Bud Light. We don't have to talk about like the marketing side of things on that, but more or less like the loss in sales and how it's affecting the team. I don't see it so much on the team because I don't see you guys every single day, but when I see Peyton, I'll use Peyton as an example because he's my guy here at Manistee Beverage. Well, he came in the other day and I had to put my hand on his shoulder and I'm like, "Are you all right, dude?" You know, you could just see it on his face. It's not the lack of sales, although that plays a big part because that's in the checkbook, but it's the interactions in the market with people that just don't understand the fact that you guys can't control what the top dog is doing. You're just out trying to be a business owner who has over 30 families to help make sure that they're getting a paycheck.
Yeah,
and it's getting a lot ridiculous out there. And I can see that you know, again, to talk about like with Peyton, I can just see it on his face that people are just kind of giving him shit. But he's walking around proud, dude, with the Budweiser shirt on, and I think that's admirable.
Yeah, I think you know, there's a lot of misinformation out there. But the bottom line for us is that we are an independently owned, veteran-owned, family-owned business, and our work family is critical to us. And we largely have no say or control over supplier advertising campaigns. And understand that your boycotts and your decisions as retailers, which the Constitution of the United States gives you, and why I went to war to defend your rights. But to me, blaming the beer is like blaming the gun. You want to get real about it. And you're just hurting the working people. You're hurting the delivery man who gets paid by the case that he delivers. You're hurting the salesman who's paid in volume. You're hurting, you know, warehousemen. You're hurting all the brewing facilities, the tens of thousands of employees that are blue-collar workers just working their butts off to bring America the beer. to bring America the cheer.
Yeah.
So we're confusing in America our political agendas with the beer.
Yeah.
There's other ways that you can raise your angst and awareness to corporations without hurting all the people that supports. So I'm not crying. I'm just telling you the black and white facts.
Yeah, I feel you. I was thinking about it this morning. I was like, I don't know if I want to talk about that. But then I thought, if there was some wild thing that happened in the liquor industry and people started boycotting liquor, I'd have to close my doors.
Yeah, it's like selective hearing.
Yeah.
Because it's not just the alcohol industry. It's America industry, global industry that has embraced these social movements. And wise or not, it is just what it is. And understanding consumers or not, we understand Ludington Beverage. We understand our consumers.
Right.
We have personal relationships with our retailers and with our consumers in our market. We live and service where we, deliver the beer, where we sell the beer, where we deliver the beer. And those social movements have great impact on our people. And that's just really quite sad. So remember your bud man.
Yeah.
Or bud girl, bud woman. Because we've got some awesome bud women too. Carrie and Heidi, who take care of us up front, just big brains of our operations and carry a lot in their rucksacks to make sure that the beer is coming to all of you out there every day. So we don't work in stovepipes. We work as a team. And, please remember that we're doing this for you.
I remember, I don't think you do it anymore, but for the longest time, you guys were the last distributor who would still just deliver one case of beer.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously now with the rising costs of everything, it's impossible to do that. But I can remember it would always frustrate me because I worked for Lakeshore Beverage and some other local distributors here back in the day, and it always pissed me off. Well, the Bud guy's going to deliver me one case. Why can't you?
Yeah.
And that was always it would upset me as a salesperson from the other team, but knowing that you guys did that, that spoke volumes.
We've always, been all about service. And that one case of beer was about the service. But what COVID created in America was the inability to service in some ways.
Right.
With runaway inflation and cost, that's everything from vehicle maintenance to fuel to growing payrolls to everything. And no fault to any of our employees, is just the way of America and really the globe. So all of those disruptions and all of those rising costs, create a business climate where you got to make decisions about what is the cost to do a service.
Right.
And it's not something that we're happy about, but it is a reality of business. And that's where the buck stops is with me.
Sure.
That's my decision, not the employees, not the salesman. As a retailer, if you want to be upset with me. I'm the commander. When I had to take that message to the team, it was not received well. And I understand that. We got, at that point, 87 years of history saying we've never done it this way.
Yeah.
And I have to take that message and say, I understand we haven't done it that way, but there's a lot of things that we're going to do over the next 10 years that we've never done. Business-to-business technology and bees and being able to order online, that's a whole nother one. That's a paradigm shift for a salesperson. Very uncomfortable for that first few months. Like, you're taking my job. That's absolutely not true, and the team all tell you that now. Like, this has enhanced my ability.
Right.
This is, created to be a tool, and we're proud of that tool that we can bring to our retailer team members and enhance your business. Because we know a sales call takes time for you. Just like for Manistee Beverage, your number of SKUs has gone up probably exponentially just since opening the door.
Yeah.
Because the industry has done the same thing. When you look at liquor in Michigan, sitting in a liquor control commission meeting, and you've got the ADAs down there briefing the liquor control commission on the number of SKUs in Michigan. Michigan has the most number of alcohol SKUs, liquor, of all the states in America. So you have the most choices,
Holy shit,
James, of all the retailers in the United States. So kudos to our Liquor Control Commission and the state for bringing those choices to the consumer. But that also adds a lot of complexity to your business, right? And so you already had that complexity with liquor, and now it's just growing out of the beer industry. So tons of complexity, lots of new costs, lots of changing the way we do business, whether that's the number of deliveries in a week, whether that's delivery minimums, whether that's number of calls that you receive, whether that's business-to-business platform technologies, which the liquor industry had been using for some time. You've been ordering your liquor, and we know that the food industry in the restaurant world has been using apps for ordering food for some years now. So just new ways of doing business that we have to step out of our comfort zone and become masters in a new realm. And our team is just crushing that. They're awesome. We've spent a lot of time on education. That's important to me. And bringing how do we as a team bring value to you at the retail level, where we're not just trying to sell you what's advantageous to us, but what's good for your business. So super proud of our team for that.
So what's been your greatest achievement at Ludington Beverage? Because we could talk about achievements in the military, but I think the focus should be more on Ludington Beverage this morning.
I think so much of it is circumstantial, where COVID has really changed our industry. And I think our greatest achievement is just how our team has been resilient and evolved out of that, and been able to do it without a great amount of attrition. It's a big learning curve. You think about a team member like Eric Case, who's got over 40 years in the business, and he's in classes learning new things and taking it to the market. That's awesome. And I'm so proud of our team for their ability to be adaptive and resilient. I think those are the things, that I'm most proud of about our people and our team. What Rick's done with the sales team, our transition to more technology in the front office side, really having some great partners in West Shore Bank and Plant Moran and really being cognizant of how we operate and the costs of how we operate and our future.
Yes, I just thinking like we were talking about Eric or even Rick back in the day. When I started, much like a lot of the people in your team, I mean, I started in the warehouse when I was 16. I've done everything in the beer and wine industry except for drive a semi. But I can remember going on a sales call like Olson's, and besides getting my balls busted by Jerry and Wes, you know, I'm in there with a pencil and paper doing inventory like this, and then when I'm done, do the order, and then go outside on the payphone and call it into the office because it was the biggest order in Manistee. So calling it in, you know, to get it ready and get it pulled for the next day. And now we're doing it online as retailers, which is wild.
Yeah, scan technologies.
Yep.
You know, and that has transformed our warehouse operations. We're small as far as wholesalers are concerned. So some of those advantageous technologies, until they became more ubiquitous, were cost prohibitive. So with the shrinking of in-your-hand technologies with smartphones and scanning devices, and every tablet now can scan, and being able to use the app world or API world to bring those things into the warehouse at an affordable ROI, that has really transformed our business. So I think, you know, I also lived it just like you, working in the warehouse as a boy, and then working as a merchandiser in high school or college, and experiencing that same thing. Everything was on paper.
Yeah.
Going in. Olson's is funny because I remember one of my first weeks merchandising, Irv Kowalski's telling me, "Speed it up there, young man, speed it up."
I can see that, yeah. We don't have enough SKUs.
But then he took me for a burger afterwards, so.
Oh, God, I'm going to cry. Oh, that's so good. I mean, we could talk forever, but this is the kind of shit I love talking about. It's all this old stuff. I got another question that just came to my mind, though. So you've got like 5 or 6 counties that you guys cover, and how difficult has it been in like the last decade, I would say, or 15 years in terms of growth for Ludington Beverage? Because there was kind of a period of time. I mean, I experienced it in the Miller houses. You know, they've been bought and purchased over the years, but there's been a great like shrink and more territory for distributors buying distributors. I know that there was a focus when SAB Miller, for example, wanted it down to just a few distributors for the entire state. Kind of like with liquor. You know, there's a couple, but there's one big one. Do you have any pressure to buy? Any pressure to sell? I mean, are people? Because I could see it. You know,
no,
in
that's
the market.
A great question. And consolidation is a reality of our industry, certainly. If you talk to Buddy when he was serving with our association on the board, there were probably well over 100 wholesalers in the state. We're down to well less than half of that now, and that's all on consolidation. And the biggest consolidation definitely being on the Miller Coors side.
Yeah.
And you understand, as in owning a business, why that is important to suppliers. It's just about logistics and cost saving. It's about how many touch points and points of contact, and in a complex business world, the more touch points and more points of contact, more delivery points, all of those are additional costs. So, of course, we understand that pressure. However, in our world where we have exclusive territories, I can't sell into the territory of the other guy and the other bud guy, and they're not selling into ours. It's a boundary line. We would love to grow. and expand. What's unique about the Lakeshore is there has been no consolidation in the last probably more than a decade along the Lakeshore. So you've got from Bud Distributing down Dowagiac to Mervine Beverage in Holland to Tyler Sales in Muskegon to us up to H. Cox and the Rivals in Traverse City. And then, you got Griffin, Huron, and then to the east of us, you got the Fabiano Brothers, and then Grand Rapids, you got Westside Beer. So those are all the folks that really are our, touching the outskirts of our territories, and of course the Lakeshore, and we all operate as a team. And I don't see any consolidation in that in any near future, because they're all family owned and operated businesses where the operators intend to be generational operators.
That's awesome.
And we grow these businesses with that intent, and we create mentorship programs and opportunities, and it's never a pressure.
Sure.
For myself, example, I never imagined being here. This opportunity to become the steward of this organization was only provided to me by Buddy. And Buddy could have cashed in and gone for consolidation and gotten rid of a lot of anxiety in his life. And he'll tell you, that would have come at the cost of the team, our Ludington Beverage family. Because during these consolidations, many times people are forced into either leaving the organization or moving. And that just wasn't an option. So he extended that opportunity. And you still got to earn the stripes. You still got to get approved by your key supplier, whether that's the AB side or the Miller side. There are plenty of operators out there who haven't been approved, and that creates all kinds of other problems. So somebody can pass the torch, but that doesn't mean the torch is lit, so to speak. So I don't see consolidation in the near future because I know all these people personally, and I think they got family plans. And we're celebrating 90 years, and
I can't wait for 100.
I'll be here in 100, at 100.
Hell yeah.
So, I didn't give up my career in the Army to come home to sell a business.
Right.
I came home to be the commander of a team, and there's a lot of parallels to war and combat in what we do, as far as a sense of urgency and having goals and having a mission and having an end state. So our vision is to be the best beer beverage distributor that our retailers have, and from a mission perspective, to take care of our family of employees. We don't exist to sell beer. We exist to perpetuate those 30 families, and we've had so many children born in the organization that go on to go to college, and now some of them are back and working. Peyton's dad worked at Ludington Beverage, and now Peyton's working at Ludington Beverage, and that he takes great pride in that, and we do too, because it means that a father cared so much about his organization that he was willing to let his son be part of it. I mean, what could be a greater honor? And I feel that way. That Buddy felt that way to allow me or ask me to do this. So, very proud of our people.
Hoorah. I think that's a great way to stop. That's awesome. Thank you so much for coming
Thank you. Thanks for what you do in this community.
Man, you do a lot, dude, and that was awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank
That
you.
was great.